I deserve better. My name is John, I'm 45 years old, and those 3 words destroyed everything I thought I knew about my life. Sitting in that motel room in Cleveland, staring at the divorce papers on the scratched-up little table, the ceiling fan creaked, spinning slowly. The smell of mildew rose from the worn carpet. 3 months ago, I had a house, a car, a life that made sense. Then Claire got sick, stage 3 ovarian cancer. The doctor said surgery was her only chance, but our health insurance had been cancelled 6 months earlier, when I was laid off from Midwest Steel, the factory where I'd worked for 18 years. I panicked. I sold the house to a cash buyer in 2 weeks. I sold my truck to the neighbor for half what it was worth. I emptied our savings, took a loan against my 401k, and begged for money from anyone who would listen. The surgery was on a Tuesday at the end of January. I sat in that waiting room for 7 hours, drinking burnt coffee and praying to a God I barely believed in anymore. When the surgeon came out and told me she'd made it, I cried in front of strangers. I didn't care. Claire's recovery was slow. I was by her side for every appointment, every pill, every rough night. We moved into a cheap motel on the outskirts of town because it was all I could afford. I picked up shifts at a warehouse, loading trucks at 4 in the morning. I'd come home exhausted and aching, but she was alive. That was all that mattered. Then one morning I came back from my shift and found her with her bags packed, 2 suitcases by the door. Her sister, Jessica, stood behind her, arms crossed with a cold stare. Claire wouldn't look at me. She just handed me an envelope. Inside were the divorce papers already filed. "I deserve better," she said, her voice as calm as if she were ordering a coffee. "Someone who can actually provide." "You're broke, John. I can't live like this." I just stood there, grease still on my hands from the warehouse, saying nothing. What could I say? I had given her everything, literally everything, and it wasn't enough. She took half of what was left, a few $1,000s I had scraped together. She left with Jessica, got into a car I didn't recognize, and drove away. I sat on the edge of the motel bed and stared at the door for a long time. The room was silent except for the creaking fan. I felt empty, hollowed out, like someone had ripped everything out of me and left only the shell. I met Claire 12 years ago at a neighborhood block party. She was funny, had an easy smile, and made me feel like I mattered. We got married fast, maybe too fast, but I thought we were solid. I thought we were a team. She never worked much, just a few odd jobs here and there, nothing steady. I didn't mind. I made good money at the steel mill, and I liked taking care of things. I paid the mortgage, the bills, the groceries. I fixed things around the house. I thought that's what you do when you love someone. Her sister Jessica never liked me. She made that clear from the start. Too blue-collar, too simple, not enough ambition. Claire used to defend me, but over the years I noticed she did it less and less. She started making little comments about the house being too small, about my job being a dead end, about how her friend Jennifer's husband just got promoted to regional manager. When I got laid off, things changed. She stopped touching me, stopped asking about my day. When the cancer diagnosis came, I expected it to bring us together. Instead, she pulled away. But I convinced myself it was the fear talking, the sickness. I convinced myself she'd see how much I loved her once we got through it. I borrowed money from my brother, Mike, from old co-workers, from a guy I played poker with twice a month. I sold my tools, my fishing gear, anything that had value. I stood in a pawn shop line with my father's watch and walked out with $300 and a knot in my chest. The surgery cost $120,000. I pieced it together bit by bit. I sold the house for $415,000, paid off the mortgage and the medical bills, and barely had enough left to keep us going for a few months. I thought when she was healthy, we could rebuild, start over. I thought she would remember what we had. But the week after her final checkup, when the doctor said she was cancer-free, she started talking to Jessica more. Long phone calls behind closed doors. I caught pieces of conversations, words like opportunity and fresh start and wasted years. I should have seen it coming, but I didn't want to believe it. The day she left, I called Mike. He didn't answer. I tried other people. No one picked up. I sat in that motel room alone, holding those divorce papers, and realized I had no one left. 2 days after Claire left, I was sitting outside the motel in a rusty iron chair, drinking gas station coffee, when a man in a suit approached me. He was older, maybe 60, with graying hair and a leather briefcase. "Are you John?" he asked. I nodded. "I've been looking for you," he said. "My name is Gregory. I'm an attorney. Your uncle Leonard passed away 3 weeks ago." I stared at him. "I don't have an uncle Leonard." "You do," Gregory said. "Your father's older brother. They had a falling out before you were born. Leonard never married, had no children. You're his only living relative. He left you something." I felt numb. My father had never mentioned a brother, not once in 45 years. Gregory handed me a folder. Inside was a property deed, a bank statement, and a handwritten letter. The property was a commercial building in downtown Cleveland. The bank statement showed an account with $95,000. The letter was short. "John, I never met you, but I know your father raised a good man. This is yours now. Don't waste it." "Leonard," I read it 3 times. I looked at Gregory. "Is this real?" "Very real," he said. "The building is paid off. It has one tenant, a small coffee shop that's been there for 6 years. They pay $2,300 a month in rent. It's not much, but it's steady. And the money in the account is clean. No taxes due. It's yours." I sat back in that iron chair and felt something I hadn't felt in months. It wasn't exactly hope, but it was close. A crack in the wall. "What do I need to do?" I asked. "Sign some papers, transfer the deed into your name." "I can handle the rest." Gregory looked at me. "Are you okay, son?" I nodded. I wasn't okay, but I was better than I was 2 minutes ago. After Gregory left, I sat there for a long time holding that letter. I thought about Claire, about how she said I couldn't provide, about how she left at the first sign of real trouble. I thought about Jessica standing there with that look of superiority, like I was trash she'd finally convinced her sister to throw out. I folded the letter and put it in my pocket. I went back to the motel room and looked around. Stained walls, flickering light, a bed that sagged in the middle. This was rock bottom, but I wasn't going to stay here. I picked up my phone and called Gregory back. "I want to see the building," I said. "I can take you tomorrow morning," he said. "No," I said. "I want to see it now." The building was on a corner 2 blocks from the West Side Market. 3 stories of exposed brick with big windows on the ground floor. The coffee shop was called The Daily Grind, a hand-painted sign hanging over the door. Through the window, I could see a handful of people sitting at small tables, steam rising from their cups. Gregory unlocked a side door and led me upstairs. The 2nd and 3rd floors were empty. Dusty hardwood floors, high ceilings, old radiators along the walls. It smelled like old wooden history. "Leonard bought this in 1987, Gregory said. Used to be a print shop downstairs. When he retired, he rented the space to the coffee shop. The upper floors have been vacant since 2003, but the structure is good, solid. You could renovate, rent them out, or sell the whole thing. It's worth about $580,000 in the current market." I walked through the space slowly, touching the walls, looking out the windows at the street below. This was real. This was mine. "And the tenant?" I asked. "Lease renews every 2 years. They're good people. Pay on time, take care of the place. You can keep them or look for someone else." I nodded, my mind already working. I thought about the money in the account. $95,000. Enough to renovate 1 floor, maybe 2. Enough to start something. "I want to keep it," I said. Gregory smiled. "Smart choice." We spent the next hour signing papers. When I left his office, the building was legally mine. I stood on the sidewalk and looked back at it. My building. My fresh start. I called Mike that night. He finally answered. "John, I'm so sorry I didn't call back," he said. "I've been swamped at work." "It's okay," I said. "I wanted to tell you something. I inherited a building." There was a pause. "What?" I explained everything. Leonard, the property, the money. Mike listened without interrupting. "That's incredible, man," he said when I finished. "You deserve a break. I'm going to fix it up," I said. "Rent out the top floors. Make something of it." "Need a hand?" Mike asked. "I've got some tools. I can come by on the weekend." "Yeah," I said. "I'd like that." For the first time in weeks, I felt like I could breathe. But 2 days later, I got a call from Claire. She wanted to meet. Said it was important. I almost said no, but something in her voice made me curious. We met at a diner near the motel. She looked good, healthy, like the cancer had never happened. She was wearing a new jacket I didn't recognize. "I heard you inherited something," she said, sitting down across from me. I looked at her. "How do you know that?" "Jessica has a friend who works at the county records office. Word gets around." I didn't say anything. "Look, John, I made a mistake," she said. I was scared. The cancer, the money problems, all of it. I panicked. "But I still care about you. We were together for 12 years. That has to mean something." I leaned back in the booth. "You said I deserved better. I know. I was wrong." She reached her hand across the table, tried to touch mine. I pulled it back. "I want to try again. We can start over. I'll help you with the building. We can make it work." I looked at her for a long time. Then I stood up. "No," I said. I walked out before she could say another word. A week later, I started renovating the second floor. Mike came over most nights after work, and we tore up old carpet, patched walls, and painted. It felt good to build something with my hands again, to see progress. The tenant downstairs, a woman named Laura, who owned the coffee shop, brought us free coffee every morning. She was about 35, quiet, with paint-splattered jeans and an easy smile. She asked what I was planning for the upstairs floors. "Commercial space, maybe," I said. "Or small apartments." Still deciding. "This neighborhood needs more affordable housing," she said. "Just a thought. I like that idea," I said. Affordable housing. Something that matters. We worked late, Mike and I, the silence broken only by the sound of hammers and sanders. Sometimes he'd look at me like he wanted to say something but wouldn't, just kept working. On the third night, he finally spoke up. "You're different," he said, sanding a doorframe. "How so?" I asked. "I don't know. More grounded, maybe. Like you found something." I looked at my own hands, calluses forming again, dirt under the nails. "Maybe I have," I said. Mike nodded and went back to work. But Claire wasn't going to let it go. She called twice, left voicemails I didn't listen to. Then she showed up at the building one afternoon while I was measuring trim. Mike was there. He looked at me, then moved into the next room. "John, we need to talk," Claire said, standing in the doorway. "No, we don't," I replied, not looking at her. "Yes, we do," she crossed her arms. "I'm still legally your wife. The divorce isn't final. That means I have a right to this building." I dropped the tape measure I was holding. "What?" "In Ohio, it's a marital property state. Anything acquired during the marriage can be divided. You inherited this building while we were still married. I talked to a lawyer. I'm entitled to half." I felt my chest tighten, the room spin slightly. "You're the one who left me," I said. "That doesn't matter legally," she replied. "I have rights." I looked at her, really looked at her. I saw the determination in her face, the coldness in her eyes. This wasn't about reconciliation. It never was. She wanted the building. She wanted the money. She wanted to take the one good thing that had happened to me in months and break it in half. "Get out," I said. "John, be reasonable. We can settle this without going to court. Just give me what's mine and I'll sign the papers. A clean break." "Get out," I said again, louder this time. She hesitated, looked around at the half-painted walls, the scattered tools. Then she turned and left. I heard her footsteps going down the stairs. Mike came back into the room. "Man," he said. "I know," I replied. 2 days later, a letter arrived by certified mail. I recognized the logo of a law firm on the envelope. I opened it right there in the motel, sitting on the edge of the sagging bed. It was a formal notice. Claire was filing a claim on the property. She was demanding half its estimated value, half the monthly rental income, or a settlement of $150,000. I read it 3 times. Every word was a punch to the gut. I picked up the phone and called Gregory. "I need to talk to you," I said. "It's urgent." We met at his office an hour later. I showed him the letter. He read it slowly, adjusted his glasses, and sighed. "She has a case," he said finally. "It's not a great one, but she has a case. Inherited property is normally considered separate, but if you improve it or generate income from it during the marriage, it can become a marital asset. Since you're renovating and collecting rent, she can argue it's marital property. So what do I do?" I asked. "You fight," Gregory said, "but it's going to cost money. Legal fees, court costs. It could drag on for months. Or you negotiate. Offer her a smaller settlement, get it over with quickly." "No," I said. "I'm not giving her a damn thing." Gregory looked at me over his glasses. "I understand your anger, John, but think with your head. It's not anger, I said. It's justice. She left me when I had nothing. Now she wants back in because I have something. That's not right. I agree, he said, but the system doesn't run on what's right. It runs on what's legal. I went back to the building that afternoon and sat on the floor of the second story. The walls were half painted, the flooring still unfinished, the windows needing to be sealed. Everything was incomplete, just like my life. Mike showed up at 6. He found me sitting there. "What's wrong?" he asked. I told him about the letter, about what Gregory said. Mike sat down next to me. We were quiet for a while. Then he said, "Remember when we were kids and you accidentally broke Tony's bike?" "Yeah," I said. "You spent 3 months collecting cans to buy him a new one, even though Tony said you didn't have to. You said it was about doing the right thing, not what was easy." I looked at my brother. "So what are you saying?" "I'm saying you've always known what the right thing is. Don't let her take that from you too." I couldn't sleep that night. I just stared at the cracked ceiling of the motel room thinking. By the time the sun started to lighten the window, I had made my decision. I called Gregory. "I need you to do something for me," I said. "What's that?" "I need you to investigate Claire and her sister Jessica, find out what they've been up to since she left." There was a pause. "John, I'm a real estate attorney. I don't do investigations." "Then find someone who does," I said. "Please." He sighed. "I know a guy, a private investigator, but John, he's not cheap." "I don't care," I said. "How much do you have available?" Gregory asked. "Whatever it takes," I replied. "Use the money from Leonard's account if you have to." "Are you sure?" he asked. "I'm sure," I said. "Do it." 3 days passed in a slow-motion blur. I kept working on the building. Every swing of the hammer was a distraction. Every brushstroke was an act of defiance. Laura from the coffee shop would come up sometimes with coffee. We'd stand there and talk about little things. The foot traffic in the neighborhood, her plans to expand the menu. She never asked about Claire, but I felt like she knew. People always know. On the 4th day, Gregory called. "I have the report," he said, his voice strange. "You're going to want to see this in person." We met at his office late that afternoon. He placed a thick folder on the desk. "Is this everything?" I asked. "It's more than I expected," he said. "John, before you open this, I need to warn you. It might be rough. Just open it," I said. He pushed the folder toward me. I opened it slowly. The first page was an executive summary. I started to read, and the world got smaller, sharper, colder. Claire had been planning this for months, long before she filed for divorce, long before she was even diagnosed with cancer. The investigator had found emails between Claire and Jessica dating back almost a year, printed and stapled with colored paper clips, organized by date. I started reading in chronological order. The first email was from Jessica to Claire. The subject line was blank. Just 2 lines. "You deserve more than this. He's never going to get out of that factory." Claire's reply took 3 days. "I know, but it's complicated." Jessica wrote back in minutes. "It's not complicated. It's simple. You're wasting your life." I turned the page. More emails. Jessica pushing, Claire resisting, but less and less each time. Then the cancer diagnosis came and everything changed. Jessica's email from 2 weeks after the diagnosis was direct. "This is terrible, but it could also be an opportunity. Let him pay for everything. Let him break himself saving you. Then you leave and start over." Claire wrote back, "I don't know if I can do that. It feels wrong." Jessica's response, "What's wrong is you being stuck with a factory worker for the rest of your life. He owes you this. You're sick. Let him figure it out." The plan was right there in black and white. Let me spend everything to save her life, and then abandon me. I turned more pages. The investigator had been thorough. There were bank records showing transfers from Jessica to Claire, small amounts over 2 years. $1,000 here, $2,000 there. It added up to almost $30,000. Jessica had been funding Claire's exit, giving her a financial cushion while I was pawning my father's watch. Then I found the part that made my stomach turn. Claire was seeing someone, a man named Jordan Silva, a pharmaceutical sales rep. They met at one of her hospital appointments. The investigator had photos. Claire and Jordan entering a hotel in Parma. Claire and Jordan having lunch at a restaurant I could never afford. Claire and Jordan holding hands, walking in the park. The dates on the photos told the whole story. Their first meeting was 8 weeks ago, exactly 1 week after she got her final clean bill of health. She wasn't leaving me because I was broke. She was leaving me because she'd already found someone better. Someone with money, a new car, a future. I was just the fool who paid the bills. I kept reading. There was more. Emails after Leonard's death. Jessica had found out about the inheritance before Claire had even told me. She'd looked up the property value at the county records office, calculated the potential rental income, run the numbers. Her email to Claire was a spreadsheet. If you can get half the building, that's at least $300,000. If you get half the monthly income, that's almost $3,000 a month for doing nothing. He owes you this. You got sick. He should have found a way without selling the house. This is compensation. Claire replied, my lawyer says I have a good case. Jessica wrote back, great, don't settle for less than $150,000. You deserve every penny. I closed the folder slowly. I looked at Gregory. Is all of this admissible in court? I asked. Most of it, yes, he said. The emails were legally obtained from servers Claire and Jessica used. The photos were taken in public places. The bank records are official. You have a solid case, John, a very solid case. What do I do now? I asked. You fight back, he said. You file a counterclaim. You allege bad faith, fraudulent inducement, adultery. You ask not only for her claim to be denied, but for her to pay your attorney's fees. It's going to get ugly, I said. It is, he confirmed, but you're going to win. I sat there for a long time holding that folder. Its weight wasn't physical. It was moral. It was proof that I had been used, manipulated, and discarded. But it was also my salvation, my weapon. Do it, I said finally. File everything. Gregory nodded. I'll need a few days to prepare. Call me when it's ready, I said, getting up. John, he called out when I was at the door. Yes? This is going to change everything. Are you prepared for that? I looked back at him. I am. 2 weeks passed in a strange haze. I kept working on the building, but my mind was elsewhere. Mike noticed. You're too quiet, he said one night as we were installing baseboards. Just thinking. About what? About how you think you know people. He stopped working, looked at me. And sometimes you do. You just don't want to believe it. Laura from the coffee shop started coming up more often. She brought not just coffee, but homemade pastries. We talked about small but important things. She told me she'd opened the shop after a rough divorce, that she'd started over from scratch, that Leonard's building had been her salvation. Now it's your turn, she said, to start over, to build something of your own. On the 14th day, Gregory called. It's ready, he said. It's 62 pages. I included everything. Every email, every transaction, every photo. I'm filing it tomorrow morning. Claire's lawyer will get a copy. Be ready. For what? I asked. For her to call. She called 3 hours after it was filed. John! She screamed into the phone. You had us investigated? This is insane. You're insane. I'm protecting what's mine, I said calmly. You have no right. She kept yelling. You have no right to invade my privacy, my life. You lied. You cheated. You betrayed, I said. It's all documented, Claire. Every email, every dollar Jessica gave you, every meeting with Jordan. You planned this from the beginning. It wasn't like that, she said, but her voice had lost its power. It was exactly like that, I replied. And now a judge is going to see all of it. You're going to lose, John, she said, trying to regain her firmness. My lawyer says you have no case. Then I'll see you in court. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were shaking, but not from fear. It was adrenaline. It was power. It was justice. Mike came by half an hour later. He found me sitting on the floor of the second story. You did it, he said. It wasn't a question. I did, I replied. He sat down next to me. We sat there looking at the walls we had painted together. This is going to be okay, he said. It is, I agreed. But I didn't know if I believed it. The following weeks were strange. I worked on the building with a new intensity. I finished the second floor completely. Flooring, paint, electrical, new windows. It looked professional, beautiful. I put a sign out front advertising commercial space for rent. In 3 days, I had 5 inquiries. In a week, I had signed a lease with a digital marketing startup. $5,000 a month. The building was working. It was generating income. It was proving Claire wrong. I started work on the 3rd floor. Mike helped when he could, but he had his own job, his own responsibilities. Laura introduced me to a contractor friend of hers, Marcus, a serious man in his 50s, with big hands and a rare smile. He gave me a fair price for the 3rd floor electrical work. I accepted. We worked together in a comfortable silence. Sometimes he'd comment on the building's structure, how well it was built, how Leonard knew how to pick properties. "He left you a good one," Marcus said one day. "Don't waste it." "I won't," I promised. The court date was set for the end of April. I received the notice by email. I had 2 months to prepare, but there wasn't much to prepare. The truth was all there in the folder Gregory had assembled. 62 pages of evidence, of exposed lies, of documented manipulation. I tried not to think about it too much. I focused on the work, on the renovations, on the new tenants, on the future I was building brick by brick. But at night, alone in the motel, the questions would come. What if I lose? What if the judge doesn't believe it? What if Claire pulls some kind of trick? I'd wake up sweating, my heart racing, staring at the cracked ceiling. Then I'd remember Mike's words, "You've always known what the right thing is," and I'd managed to fall back asleep. Claire tried to call 2 more times. I didn't answer. She sent texts. I deleted them without reading. She showed up at the building one afternoon, but Laura wouldn't let her come up, said I'd given instructions. Claire stood on the sidewalk shouting my name, but I didn't go down. Eventually she left. Jessica tried to make contact too. She sent a long email talking about family, about how I was destroying relationships, about how I was being vindictive and small. I replied with a single line, "See you in court." She didn't write back. March turned into April. The 3rd floor was finished. I rented half of it to a freelance graphic designer and the other half to a small law firm. The irony was not lost on me. The building was now generating $9,700 a month in rent. After expenses, I was clearing about $7,000. It wasn't a fortune, but it was stability. It was independence. It was proof. A week before the hearing, Gregory called me into his office. "We need to talk strategy," he said. "There is no strategy," I said. "We have the truth." He shook his head. "The truth helps, but it's not enough. We need to present it properly. Make the judge see not just what they did, but why it matters legally." He walked me through the argument he was going to use. Claire had violated her duty of marital loyalty through adultery. Jessica had maliciously interfered with the marriage through financial and emotional manipulation. The inheritance was my exclusive property by law, and the improvements were funded solely with resources from that inheritance, not with marital assets. Therefore, none of the building was divisible. Furthermore, given the bad faith she'd demonstrated, Claire should be responsible for my legal costs. "Does it make sense?" I asked. "It does," Gregory said. "And we have evidence for every single point." "You'll be there?" I asked. "I will," he confirmed. "I'll present everything. You just need to stay calm and answer honestly if you're asked anything." "I can do that," I said. "I know you can," he replied. "I didn't sleep the night before the hearing." I sat at the motel room window, looking out at the city, the lights scattered like fallen stars. I thought about everything that had happened in the last few months. Claire's sickness, selling the house, the divorce, the inheritance. Every moment had led me here, to this night before the judgment. I didn't feel angry. It was strange. I felt a deep calm, like I had finally found my footing in the world. At 5 in the morning, I gave up on trying to sleep. I showered, put on the only suit I owned, a black pair of slacks and a white shirt Mike had loaned me. I looked in the cracked bathroom mirror and almost didn't recognize myself. Not because of the clothes, but because of the look in my eyes. There was a resolve there, a firmness that didn't exist before. The courthouse was a gray building downtown. I arrived an hour early. Gregory was already there, briefcase in hand, suit immaculate. "Did you sleep?" he asked. "No," I confessed. "But I'm okay." Mike showed up 15 minutes later. He gave me a hug without saying a word. Laura from the coffee shop showed up too. That surprised me. "Came for support," she said simply. I wasn't alone. That mattered more than I realized. At 9 o'clock sharp, we entered the courtroom. It was smaller than I expected. White walls, a few rows of benches, a large desk for the judge. Claire was already there with her lawyer, a woman in a grey power suit with a stern expression. Jessica sat behind them, arms crossed, a look of contempt on her face. I didn't look at them. I sat next to Gregory and took a deep breath. The judge entered, a man in his 60s with white hair and reading glasses hanging around his neck. "All rise," we sat. "Let's begin," he said, his voice weary like someone who'd seen too many divorce battles. Claire's lawyer started. She spoke about marital property rights, about how the inheritance was improved during the marriage, and therefore became a shared asset. She talked for 20 minutes, citing case law, presenting calculations. She asked the court to award Claire half the value of the building, or a settlement of $150,000. When she finished, the judge looked at Gregory. "Does the defense have a response?" Gregory stood up, adjusted his tie, and opened his folder. "Your Honor," he began, "this is not a simple case of asset division. This is a case of bad faith, manipulation, and a violation of marital duties." He started presenting the emails one by one, reading excerpts aloud. His voice echoed in the small room. Jessica's plans, Claire's replies, the coldness with which they had plotted my financial ruin. He showed the bank transfers, the money Jessica had given Claire during our marriage, creating an escape fund while I was pawning my watch. Then came the photos. Claire and Jordan. Each image projected onto the wall, dated, located, proving the affair. The judge leaned forward, studying every document, every photo. He asked questions. Gregory answered with surgical precision. Claire's lawyer tried to object, claimed privacy, claimed irrelevance. The judge overruled every objection. "This is highly relevant," he said. "It speaks to the character of the petitioner and the circumstances of the marriage's end." Gregory continued. He showed how the inheritance was my sole property, how the renovations were paid for only with money from that inheritance, not with shared funds. He cited Ohio Revised Code, paragraph 3105.171. Assets acquired by one spouse by inheritance are separate property. He showed the rental contracts, the receipts from the renovations, everything documented, everything clear. Finally, he presented the request for attorney's fees. Due to the bad faith demonstrated by the petitioner and the malicious interference of her sister, Jessica Miller, we ask that the petitioner be ordered to cover the respondent's legal costs in the amount of $16,800. When Gregory sat down, there was silence in the room. The judge took off his glasses, rubbed his eyes, and looked at Claire. "Ma'am, would you like to respond?" he asked. Claire looked at her lawyer. The lawyer whispered something. Claire shook her head. The judge waited. "Do you have anything to say about the evidence presented, specifically the emails and the photographs?" Claire opened her mouth, closed it, then opened it again. "The emails are real," she said finally, her voice small. "And the relationship with Mr. Jordan Silver. When did that begin?" Claire looked down. "In March." "While you were still married to the respondent?" "Yes." The judge made some notes. He looked at Jessica. "Are you Jessica Miller, sister of the petitioner?" "Yes," Jessica answered, her voice defiant. "Did you make bank transfers to your sister during her marriage totaling approximately $30,000? "I did," she said. "I was helping my sister. Helping or financing the end of her marriage?" the judge asked. Jessica didn't answer. The judge made more notes, then closed the folder in front of him. "I will review everything that has been presented here today. A decision will be issued within 15 days. This hearing is adjourned." He banged the gavel. Everyone stood. Claire left quickly, Jessica right behind her. They didn't look back. I just stood there, feeling the weight lift off my shoulders. Gregory clapped me on the back. "That went well," he said. "Very well." We walked out of the courthouse. Mike hugged me on the steps. "Proud of you, brother," he said. Laura smiled and offered to buy us coffee. We accepted. The three of us went to her shop, sat at a corner table, drank coffee and ate pastries, and for the first time in months, I felt like I could fully breathe. The 15 days dragged on. I kept working, started planning to buy a second property, a duplex a few streets over that was for sale. It needed work, but it had potential. I used part of the inheritance as a down payment and got a small loan for the rest. The realtor was surprised when it was approved. "You've got good credit," she said, "and a property for collateral. That helps." On the 13th day, Gregory called. "The decision is in," he said, "and?" "We won, John. We won everything." I let out a breath I didn't know I'd been holding. The judge completely denied Claire's claim, confirmed the inheritance as your sole property, and ordered her to pay your legal fees. He even added a note about her bad faith that will be part of the official record. "What does that mean?" I asked. "It means it's over. You're free. The building is yours. The future is yours." I hung up and sat on the floor of the 3rd story. I looked around at the painted walls, the new windows, the gleaming floors. I had built this. I had fought for this. I had won. Claire never paid the legal fees. I heard later from Mike that she filed for bankruptcy 4 months after the decision. Jessica stopped talking to her, furious that Claire had admitted to everything in court. Their relationship imploded. Jordan, the sales rep, left Claire when he found out she had no money and was in debt. She moved into a small apartment on the east side and got a job as a waitress. I heard all of this secondhand. I didn't seek out the information. I didn't care anymore. I finished the renovation on the duplex in August. 3 months of hard work. Mike helped, Marcus the contractor too. Laura brought coffee and food. We became a strange but functional team. I turned the duplex into 2 apartments, 1 on each floor, and rented them both out within 2 weeks. The downtown building was bringing in $9,700. The duplex brought in $6,000. After expenses, I was clearing about $12,000 a month. It wasn't wealth, but it was stability. It was independence. It was dignity. I bought a 3rd property in October, a 4-plex that needed a lot of work. I spent months renovating it, learning to do things I'd never done. Plumbing, more complex electrical, basic interior design. Each property taught me something new. Each tenant told me a story. I started to understand that I wasn't just renting spaces. I was providing homes. I was helping people start over just like I had. By the end of the year, I had 5 properties, all rented, all generating income. I hired Laura to manage everything part-time. She was organized, the tenants liked her, and she solved problems before they became crises. "You have a knack for this," I told her one day. She smiled. "I learned from the best," she replied. In December, I moved out of the motel room. I rented a small apartment above a bakery in the Lakewood neighborhood. It had big windows, hardwood floors, and smelled like fresh bread every morning. I bought a used but reliable truck, a coffee maker, simple but comfortable furniture. For the first time in years, I had a place that felt like mine. Mike came for dinner the first night. He brought beer and pizza. We sat on the floor because I didn't have a table yet. We made a toast. "To new beginnings," he said. "To new beginnings," I repeated. Laura started coming by more often, not just to talk about work, but just to talk. I learned she'd studied architecture but never finished, that she dreamed of restoring historic buildings, that she saw potential where others saw ruins. "Remind you of anyone?" she said, laughing. I started to see her differently, not as an employee or a friend, but as someone who got it, someone who had rebuilt her own life from the rubble, someone who knew the value of starting over. It didn't happen fast. It was months of long talks about renovations that turned into talks about dreams and fears, and what it meant to get back up after being knocked down. On my 46th birthday, she showed up with a cake, candle, and all. "I didn't know you knew my birthday," I said. "I know a lot of things," she replied with that easy smile of hers. "We've been partners for a year," she said. "You've renovated 5 buildings, helped 20 families find decent housing, created jobs, built a community. That deserves a celebration." We blew out the candle together. It was the best birthday I'd had in years. A year after the court hearing, I went back to the courthouse, not to fight, but to file the deed on my 7th property. The clerk greeted me by name. The notary commented on my growing portfolio. "You're doing a good thing," he said. "Affordable housing downtown. The city needs it." I left there and walked to the building Leonard had left me, the first one, the one that started it all. Laura was there talking with the tenants about a minor leak. We had it fixed in 20 minutes. Teamwork. I went up to the rooftop terrace we had renovated over the summer. It had become a common space for all the tenants. There were plants, chairs, a beautiful view of the city. I sat there watching the traffic below. I thought about Leonard, the uncle I never met but who saved me. I thought about Claire and how her betrayal had been my liberation. I thought about Mike, who showed up when I needed him, and Laura, who became a partner and then something more. I thought about every hammer swung, every wall painted, every lease signed. It wasn't about the money. It never was. It was about building something that mattered. About proving, not to Claire but to myself, that I was worth more than she said. That I could provide. That I could rebuild. That rock bottom wasn't an end point. It was a foundation. Laura came up to the roof and found me there. "What are you thinking about?" she asked, sitting next to me. "Foundations," I replied. She took my hand. "A good foundation is everything," she said. "Without it, nothing can stand." I looked at her, at the eyes that had seen me at my worst and stayed. "Do you want to have dinner with me tonight?" I asked. "Not as a manager or a friend, but as..." She smiled. "A date," I finished. "As a date," she repeated. "I'd love that." The sun began to set, painting the sky orange and pink. We sat there holding hands, looking out at the city that had broken me and then rebuilt me. Below in the coffee shop, the evening rush was starting. People coming and going, the sound of conversations and laughter rising up to us. 2 blocks over, the duplex I renovated had lights on in every window. Families eating dinner, kids playing, lives happening in the spaces I built. I thought about sending a text to Claire, something about forgiveness or closure. But I didn't need to. She wasn't part of my story anymore. She was just the push that sent me in the right direction. Mike called later. "Got news," he said, excited. "See, I'm getting married." "Man, congratulations," I replied. "And there's more. I need a best man. Someone who taught me that falling down isn't the end." "It would be an honor," I said, swallowing the emotion. The ceremony was in March, in a small church in the neighborhood where we grew up. I wore a new suit. Laura went with me wearing a blue dress. During the vows, Mike looked over at me and nodded. I remembered sitting on the floor of the second story, painting walls and talking about new beginnings. Now he was starting his own. At the reception, I met the bride's family. Simple, good people. One of her uncles pulled me aside. "Mike tells me you own a bunch of buildings downtown," he said. "I do," I confirmed. "I'm looking for a place for my daughter to rent. She's starting college. You have anything?" "I do," I said. "Let's talk next week." Every connection led to another. Every happy tenant recommended someone else. In 2 years, I had 12 properties. In 3, I had 16. It wasn't an empire, but it was solid. It was built with integrity, with honest work, with respect for the people who trusted me with their homes. I hired more people, an accountant. My own lawyer, Gregory, had retired, a small maintenance team. Laura became a full partner. She managed operations while I scouted new properties and negotiated renovations. We worked well together, our skills complementary, our dreams aligned. On my 48th birthday, she took me to dinner at a restaurant on top of a skyscraper. You could see the entire city lit up. "Can you see your properties from here?" she asked. I pointed each one out. "That one there was the first, Leonard's gift. That one was the second, the duplex. That one's the third." She followed my finger as I pointed. "There are so many," she said. "They're people," I corrected her. "Every lit window is a family, a life, a story." She looked at me in a different way. "What is it?" I asked. "You," she said. "When I met you, you were broken, lost. But even then, there was something, sitting in that miserable motel, staring at those divorce papers. A determination. And now look at you." "I haven't changed that much," I said. "You have," she replied. "But in a good way. You've become more yourself." "Do we become more ourselves when everything is taken away?" I asked. "I think so," she said. "Because there's nothing left to hide behind." We ordered dessert and talked about expanding to other cities, about setting up a fund to help people in situations like mine had been, about leaving a legacy that mattered. When we left the restaurant, the city was still alive. Traffic on the streets, lights in the buildings, each one telling stories I would never know. But some of them I did know. I knew Mrs. Garcia on the second floor of the Elm Street building, who had escaped an abusive relationship and started over there. I knew Mr. Peterson on the ground floor of the Maple Avenue duplex, who lost his job at 60 and needed an affordable place until he could retire. I knew Beatrice, the student on the third floor of the central building, who worked all day and studied all night and needed a place close to the university. Each one had a story of a new beginning. Each one was building something from the rubble. Just like me. We drove back in a comfortable silence. Laura rested her head against the window, watching the lights go by. When we stopped in front of her apartment, she didn't get out right away. "John," she said. "Yeah? Thank you. For what?" "Say, for letting me be a part of this. The building, the community, you." I took her hand. "Thank you for staying," I replied. She smiled, kissed my cheek, and got out of the truck. Before she closed the door, she turned back. "We're looking at that property in Tremont tomorrow." "We are," I confirmed. "Could be our biggest renovation yet." "I can't wait," she said, and disappeared inside. I drove home thinking about how things had changed. 3 years ago, I was in that motel thinking my life was over. Now I had a thriving business, I had Mike back, I had Laura, I had a purpose. It wasn't about the money, though the money helped. It was about proving I was worth more than Claire had said. That rock bottom wasn't the end, but the beginning. That rebuilding was possible. That worth doesn't come from other people, but from within. I parked in front of the bakery, walked up the stairs, the smell of bread already starting for the next day. I walked into my apartment, turned on the lights. I looked around at the simple furniture, the walls decorated with photos of each property, the desk where I made my plans. This was mine, built with honest work, with integrity, with respect. I sat on the small balcony with a beer and looked out at the city. Somewhere out there, Claire was living her life. Somewhere, Jessica was dealing with her own problems. It didn't matter anymore. They weren't part of my journey. They were just the push that put me on the right path. The phone buzzed. It was a text from Laura. "Thanks for tonight," followed by another. "You're special, John, more than you know." I smiled and texted back, "You are too." I put the phone away, finished my beer, and went inside. I lay down in bed, looked up at the ceiling that had no cracks. I thought of Leonard and his letter. "Don't waste it." I didn't waste it, Uncle, I thought. I built something that matters. I helped people. I rebuilt not just buildings, but lives. Mine included. I closed my eyes. For the first time in years, I slept without weight, without fear, without regret. The future was open, full of possibilities, and I was ready. And if this story touched your heart, if you saw a piece of yourself in John's journey, if you believe that it's always possible to start over, then hit that like button below. Subscribe to the channel for more stories that inspire and strengthen. And in the comments, tell me, what was your moment of rebuilding? When did you find your foundation at rock bottom? Let's build this community together. Every story matters. Every new beginning deserves to be celebrated. See you in the next one.